welcome back. This is Stance and Footwork 101. Alright, first off, this is low stance. People use this to get momentum, start flowing, and to get spin. I think this one is the most common in X bar because X bar requires lots of spinning and momentum and everything. It's a really wide stance. It's really hard to get up out of once you're in it. So like once you're in this low stance, you might as well go for a spin, you know? So as you can see here, I'm in low stance. This is a very common situation most people find themselves in. I'm throwing my arms to the right. I am trying to pinch my glutes, I guess, so I can initiate the spin. And this part takes a little bit of finessing to get your legs to pinch in the right way. Use your lumbar to lean the direction you want to go. And kind of work with your knees and your toes and your knees and your chest to find the perfect spin. And once you have a spin that looks good, you just start spacing. You let it go. You can kick off the ground and bring your limbs together. You can increase your spin, and then you'll be amazing, and then you'll be great, and then you can do whatever you want. And now you have spin. Alrighty, this is the mid-level stance, also popular in X bar and hybrid styles because it's not too tall and it's not too low. You know, people do punches in this level because you're not tall enough to fall over, but you're not low enough to get stuck. You still have mobility with your feet. Alright, see, this is me doing a punch in the mid-level. What's important is you only use the joints that you need to do the punch, you know, and make sure everything else is held. Well, that's how I do it, just to stay controlled over everything. So I am trying to make sure that I keep my feet as flat as possible. Because see this little pivot going on here? That sucks because then you lose your stance if your foot pivots too much in a direction that you don't want it to go. And you can kind of cure this problem by not moving what you don't need. So I'm just gonna get the punch, which is the focus of the move, and I'm turning. I'm just trying to follow the replay. Come on, hurry up, Matarika. Alright, I'm turning, and look, I have the punch in front of me. I held all, because now all I need is to extend that arm. I don't need to move my legs anymore, because my fist is now in front of me, so I can stop all that extra movement. So that's a punch right there. And I held all, because I'm done with the punch motion, I guess. And now I am bringing it back. I rechamber it back in. And you use that rechamber motion to switch into your other punch, just as you would in real life. Alright, this is the high stance. It's mostly used for using footwork and kind of changing your stances because you have the most mobility when you're this high, because you have more access to your toes and lifting yourself. And if you want to move your tori real quickly, high stance is best. Alright, now this is probably one of the most important parts of the video. If you have problems balancing, you need to learn to become comfortable maneuvering on your toes. As you see I'm doing here, I'm lifting one toe and flattening the other. It gives you all this room to just slide it wherever direction you want. Forward, back, left, right, you know? And this is also the same principle that people use for sidestepping and backstepping. You need to become comfortable just sort of pivoting and just shifting weight and stepping from using the sidestepping method, and it's all based around the toes. And it's really hard to do when you're in a mid to lower stance, but it's very easy to do when you're in a higher stance. You know, people in X bar don't usually go in higher stances, but they should really consider becoming very comfortable with it, because if you can get really good at kind of tiptoeing around like this I'm doing in this replay, then it'll be even easier to do it when you're in lower stances, because you'll understand how your ankles work and you'll understand how your weight works on your ankles, what you can get away with and what you can't. And let me tell you, doing some work on my kind of my toes when I'm in a spar and changing my footwork and everything like that, it's helped me so much to kind of save my falls or just kind of be ready to attack quicker. So really kind of go on your tiptoes in single player mode and just kind of dance around like I'm doing now on your toes, and get comfortable just moving on your toes and not falling over. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm about to show you the replay of like what using kind of toe footwork can do. Alright, so basically this is how sidestepping works. You have to keep your weight pushing towards your opponent, and then as you lean, you pick up your back foot and use your glutes and pinch them together, and then you bring your legs close together like that. And once your back foot catches up with your front foot, then you stand on your back leg and you pick up your front leg. But you have to keep your weight moving forward. That's important. You can't lean too far back or you'll slow down. So as you pick up your front foot, you have to put it back down and repeat this step. Now you're picking up your back leg, and you contract those glutes and bring the legs together. Make sure on whatever foot you're sliding that the ankle is contracted so you can make it clear the ground, because if it gets stuck then you'll just trip. Backstepping follows a very similar kind of technique. You're getting your weight moving backwards, and you take one of your legs while you're on your toes, and you kind of have to make it clear the ground by maybe contracting it just a little bit, and then with your hips you kind of push one of your legs back. Make sure you check to make sure you're not falling to your left or your right. If you want to stop in a stance like this is a very good stance to have when you're in kind of fights, because the range of mobility is great. You can go left, right, back, and forward very easily. When you're in the typical X-bar stance with wide glutes, you can easily be pushed back or pushed forward. But with this kind of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back kind of stance, you can go any direction practically. And that's good for kind of opening up defensive and offensive options. So that's about everything. There's low stances, there's mid stances, there's high stances. High stances are very important to save your balance. Low stances are very important to kind of create spin and momentum, so you don't even have to worry about balance if you're trying to do that. But your toes are the most important thing. I can't stress that enough, is that if you want to learn how to balance very well, become comfortable maneuvering on your toes or with your toes. Use your ankles. And this stance that you see on the screen right now is the front leg forward, back leg back kind of stance, where you can move in any direction you want. It's a very versatile stance, and I would suggest getting comfortable finding it. It's basically just a horse stance, but you're facing forward, rather than having your hips kind of squared. You could be pushed over, but this one is very sturdy, very strong. The front stance, I guess I can call it. In karate, it would be called the front stance.
Mommy's gonna sing you a song.